Hey guys, welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you are returning. So I disappeared from the internet for a week. I wasn't on Instagram, I wasn't on YouTube, I didn't film anything. I wanted to pre-film in case something happened, like work or something. So I was supposed to do that this week, but that didn't happen, and now I'm behind a week on videos. So let's talk about why as I do my makeup. Only a few people know from this world of YouTube and Instagram. If you don't know, I was actually admitted to the hospital, so we'll talk about that and what happened. But I was admitted and I was able to have someone drop stuff off for me, so I did have them drop off makeup because I was really bored and needed something to do and I looked horrible. I of course brought the James Charles X Morphe brush set. I brought this along with a couple of Moda brushes, a few of my favorite brushes like the FARAH brush, and of course I brought the lint brushes with me because I really enjoyed playing with those. And I did bring two sponges. I bought a Juno & Co sponge for powder and one Hank & Henry sponge for foundation and concealer or anything liquid. Let's go ahead and start and I'll get more into detail of what happened. So I did pack it all into this case right here. This is by Impressions Vanity. I did bring a couple variety of things because I didn't really know what I wanted to do or how long I was going to be there. So I already moisturized and everything, so let's get into primer. And I brought two primers with me. I bought the Touch in Sol No Pore Bloom primer, of course. And I'm just gonna take a little bit and rub it in where I need help with my pores. I will say my face is breaking out so terribly. And my next primer, I did bring the Elemis Superfood. This is their Glow Priming Moisturizer. And I'm just gonna take a little bit of this and I'm gonna apply this to the borders of my face. So like my forehead, my cheeks, my chin. So these were the two primers that I brought with me. So now let's get into foundation. I did bring the ColourPop Pretty Fresh and the Morphe 2. I think I want to use the ColourPop one today. And for this, I'm going to use the Morphe 439 brush to buff this in. I really just don't want to get up to wet my sponge. So let's kind of get into it and what happened. I'm going to take just one pump of this and see how far that gets me on my hand. I'm just going to buff this in. So I admitted myself into the hospital on the 3rd. I went in because I started to feel really funny the past week and my heart rate was really high. I couldn't get it down no matter what I did. So basically my heart rate started at 178 the first night that this started happening. I was like, oh, okay, like maybe it's just like an anxiety attack or something like that. I don't really know, but there's got to be a reason for it because it's kind of weird. And then the next day it started to go down a little bit, so I was like, oh, okay, like I still feel off, but let's see, like maybe that's all it was. And because it was so high, it kind of wore me out. Well, a week goes by and no matter what I do, I cannot get my heart rate under 120. So basically I was anywhere from 120 to 140, and if I was stressed out, it would spike up even more, which was awful because I could feel it beating. So I went into the hospital, and this isn't the first time that has happened to me. I'm like, whatever, it's the same routine. I knew I was going to be there for a while because it's my heart racing. So I brought, you know, just the basics like my switch and stuff. But that was not the case this time. I was in the ER for quite a few hours and my heart rate wouldn't go down. I wasn't really talking to anybody. I was only laying down. I was sleeping. I wasn't doing anything basically. My heart rate would not drop. So obviously this was concerning to the doctor because they don't ever get to see it like this. Normally it goes down by the time I'm in the ER. And so they're like, okay, and you said it's been like this for a week, so this is like really concerning. So they did a bunch of blood tests. They did all my vitals, my blood pressure, everything. Every single thing was normal. They said all my vitals were perfect. They're exactly where they should be. So we don't know really what's going on. And that right there was concerning because people were saying, oh, maybe your blood pressure is high because that can make your heart race. But it was exactly where it was supposed to be. Obviously that freaked me out just a tiny bit because again, I'm used to kind of being in the ER for something like this. So he comes back and he goes, I'm not letting you leave tonight. We need to figure this out. This has been going on for years. I looked at your history. You're not leaving. And I was like, okay, like this is terrifying because obviously what's going on, you can't have visitors. So I was all alone. But I was like, okay, you know, whatever, we need to get this figured out. I agree. So I did. I stayed. We did lots of tests. We did several blood tests. They're like, okay, like maybe you have a blood clot blocking your heart or something. Like, so we just need to test everything. And I was like, you know what? You do that. You test every single thing. Like, let's figure it out. Except I brought the Laura Mercier setting powder. I'm going to use that Juno & Co sponge to soak it in. And I just feel like baking like the sides of my nose today. So anywho, we get all my blood tests back and everything's completely fine and normal and how it should be. I did get several awards while I was there. Not a good thing, but also I deal with awkwardness pretty terribly, so I kind of laugh at everything. I just set this and I didn't do concealer. I'm gonna try and add concealer before I move this baking. For concealer, I bought the ColourPop Pretty Fresh. This is in light 40N. I forgot to mention the foundation is in light 55N. So anyways, the awards. So my awards consisted of nicest person they stabbed all night, because I guess they were having issues with taking blood and entering IVs into their patients. I was no help to that situation, don't be fooled. I am terrible with needles and blood, so I almost passed out a couple times, but I didn't. And as much as I told them I really hated needles, they were super nice and gentle, and they really went about working with me, which was really awesome. So obviously they worked with me, I worked with them, but I told my mom that and we both died laughing because I'm so bad with that kind of stuff. Another award that I got was I drank the most water. They were bringing me a new cup of water like every 10 minutes, to the point of most of the nurses were bringing me 2 or 3 cups of water at a time. And they were, you know, pretty big sized cups. Okay, so that's my base products. I did bring this Iconic London. This is the Blaze Chaser palette. I don't really know what happened here. I didn't pack my makeup, so I don't know. But I'm gonna go into this shade right here. I'm gonna use this Luxie Small Contour Brush with this. So my last award, because I was on the cardiac floor because it was my heart whenever I got moved, was the youngest cardiac patient. They allowed 1 visitor per day as long as they followed social distancing rules and mask and everything, and you had to take a COVID test if you're admitted, and as long as yours is negative, you can have 1 single guest. So my mom came up there and she's like, yeah, I'm looking for Analea, and they were like, oh, the young one. So I just thought that was kind of funny. She came up there, and luckily she came up there whenever she did, because I ended up getting discharged a few hours later, but I was not okay to drive, so luckily she was right there to take me. So basically they said I have something called tachycardia, and I'm just gonna read a definition because I do not want to say it or get it wrong. Tachycardia is basically a fast heart rate. It's a rapid heartbeat that may be regular or irregular, but is out of proportion to age and level of exertion or activity. So because I'm 21 and I wasn't doing anything but laying there and sleeping, obviously that's a bit concerning because it was going on for hours while I was being monitored in the hospital alone. Plus, like I said, it had been going on for the full week. They did a bunch of different tests on me. We did echocardiograms, like I said, the blood test. We did blood culture tests. We did oxygen tests to make sure I wasn't running out of oxygen, because I was complaining about how whenever I'm walking or talking, I have to gasp for air because I can't breathe. I'm still doing that, so this is probably going to be a very cutty video. I told them I wasn't really able to work out anymore because I had been working out again, and they saw that as concerning. The second doctor I saw, we did a bunch of x-rays and EKGs, and everything came out so normal and looked like I was like super healthy, except for my heart rate was up. So again, very concerning and very weird. I'm going to use this Morphe M405 brush for my blush, and I'm just going to go into this light one right here. So with me being monitored, nothing really changing, so they decided they wanted to try a medicine while I was there to monitor me and everything, and the medicine was made to slow down my heart rate to a normal level. So that's what we did, and it's definitely working. I went from 120 to anywhere from 160 if I was stressed, but it was 120 to 140 regularly, down to anywhere from 60 to 80, which is obviously a lot better. I'm gonna go into this Laura Mercier palette. This is their Magic Hour Face Illuminator palette, and I want to go into this shade right here, and I'm gonna go into this with a Morphe 501 brush. So they gave me the medicine and everything's working out, and it's working. My heart rate's dropping, but then I started to have anxiety attacks whenever it was time to go to bed, which was obviously, you know, not ideal because it would make my heart rate rise up. And basically I was scared to go to bed because I was scared that my heart rate was gonna drop too much and drop too low, that something bad was gonna happen. It's really hard because I rationalized with myself and I was like, they're right outside your door, they're watching your heart rate. If you need anything, you can press that call button, they're right there in your room, so you're fine. So she was super awesome and very sweet. I'm gonna go ahead and throw on a lip mask now. This is the Glow Lip Mask that I got in BoxyCharm because my lips were so dry in there. So I was really upset because I had a lot of fun videos and stuff planned for Valentine's Day, and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to film any. Not moving the best, I'm not talking the best, so it's kind of up in the air on if I can sit here and film or not. I do want to get at least one video done though, So I'm going to go into the ABH eye primer, and I'm just going to put a little dot. I'm going to go into my lint brush. This is the L9, and I'm just going to start tapping this in. I probably use way too much for this brush because it doesn't really soak up product, and as you can see, it's still going. So I just realized it wasn't filming, so I don't know how long this wasn't recording, but I used the Life of the Fiesta palette. I used the shade The Moment and Keep Going, and then I used the ABH glitter adhesive, and I put the One of a Kind glitter on my eyelids, and that's what that is. And I just used 3 brushes. I used the Lint L6 for my eyeshadow primer, which was the ABH primer. I used the L10 and the Luxie 209 brush. Pretty easy. So I'm on eyebrows now, and I only did one, so I bought 3 different eyebrow products in case I wasn't feeling up to it. I bought the Real Her I Am Inspiring eyebrow pencil, the Benefit Gimme Brow in shade 4, and the Oma Blowout in 5, which is what I'm actually using right now. My eyebrows so don't match, but I kind of really don't care right now. So I brought 2 mascaras with me. I brought the Ofra HD Volumizing Mascara and the Air Volume Mega Mascara by L'Oreal, and that's on the floor. So I'm going to use the L'Oreal, so I'll be right back. So I didn't really get a lipstick because, again, I wasn't the one that packed my bag, but I did grab a Fenty Gloss Bomb in Fussy and the Fenty Cream in Fenty Glow. So I'm just going to use the Fussy today. And then I did bring the mini Ofra makeup fixer. I know the pumps on this is broken, but it fit perfectly into my bag, so I'm gonna go into the big one though because I have it here. Also, I messed this up, but I'm waiting for it to dry. Alrighty guys, that's gonna be it from me today. I just kind of wanted to come in and do an update of what's been going on, why I disappeared. So yeah, pretty much that's gonna be it for me. This is all the makeup I packed for the hospital, so I guess you could say this is a full face of favorites. A little ways to recovery to go, but I'll get there. So my uploads might be a little bit iffy right now, but definitely within the next week or 2 they're gonna be back to normal. Make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe button. I post every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I would love to see you there, so make sure you hit the subscribe button to don't miss it, and I'll see you guys there. Bye guys.